Nope, that is the wrong screen. Fantastic. I'm already botching this. My first time and I go to the wrong screen. I apologize. Welcome back, everybody, to Champions of the Fog. I am your host, littlerugaard, and joining me today, very special guest from DBE League themselves, Dir3Wolf. Dir3Wolf, how are you today?
Thank you so much for the kind introduction and having me over here in Champions of the Fog. I'm really great. I'm excited to see these matches. I've seen Divine playing today 2 times already, so they are in kind of a run right here, and they have all reason to come in here very, very confident. And I'm just so hyped for this match, and I hope you're doing good as well.
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. This is my third match of the day. Honestly, the previous 2 have been pretty bangers. I've been having a blast. Oh my goodness. If you guys haven't seen the previous match, go back and watch it. It was fantastic. But we've got nonstop. I can't believe you said Divine's played twice already today?
They played in Dead by Esports and in DBD League, and they have put up a very, very strong performance so far. They put up in DBE against Commonwealth, a very, very known Russian team. Even though they lost, they showed up such a fantastic performance that they have all reason to keep the head up and the shoulders up and come in.
That's crazy. I did not know that. All right, so they've already got the warm-ups under them, so they're just coming in. They've been playing all day, like, all right, we got COD up today. All right, what's next on the roster? So they got this playing lined up. Okay, sweet. And they are going to be playing at Shadow. So it's Shadow Wolves versus Divine today. We're going to be playing on the Wretched shop. And Shadow Wolves is bringing a nurse. I haven't seen a ton of Shadow Wolves. I also, we can go over here to the screen real quick. We're going to be seeing Cyber playing nurse. Have you seen Cyber play nurse? Have you seen Cyber kill at all by chance?
Yeah, I have the big advantage here that they're coming from my community pretty much. So I need to watch out that I'm not too biased here today. But yeah, I've seen them preparing quite well here, and they are working out some strategies here because they were aware that Divine is going to be a team that is going to be really difficult to play against, and therefore they kept the preparation very they started weeks ago and said like, hey, what could be a plan we can put up here on the nurse? And I'm really hyped to see, because I have to say the actual practice I missed quite a lot. So it's going to be a surprise for me as well here.
Okay, very cool. I had no idea. I don't. I'm still getting used to some of these newer names that I just haven't been around for, but that's really cool. So they've been playing this weeks in advance. So they knew this was coming. So they marked this on their calendar like, we want to take out Divine right here.
Yeah. Yeah, that was kind of their mindset. If you want to say it like that, that was kind of, yeah, me too. I was really hyped to see it because at some point I noticed, okay, there's a lot of planning going on here, and there's a lot of hype around Shadow Wolves, and then it was clear that it's going to be Champions of the Fog against Divine, and they are ready to fight, and they are a team. Not talking as their tutor or as a coach now, just realistically, they're a team that is looking for every challenge and trying to pick up things left and right to get better in the competitive scene. And therefore, I'm really hyped what they have prepared against Divine here because, as said, Julian, Wispy, Laker, they have all played today already in several leagues, and they are warmed up and ready to go. So this is going to be a really, really tough challenge here.
Oh, for sure. So what you're saying is they're out for blood. They want to make a name for themselves, and Divine already has a name, so they want that title, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it's basically, I think what we see is going to be a team that has a lot of experience and a lot of talent is going to go against some fresh wind and players that are trying to drag their name out in the competitive scene, and that's sometimes a very interesting match to watch because then you're going into like developed game plans, developed strategies that are already on the table, and now is coming a team with new ideas and they are trying to shake it up and pull some upsets, and that's always really, really beautiful to watch.
Indeed, and we'll have to see how that strategy comes to play. Maybe you could point out, like, if you notice something, what maybe they did differently in the situation. But we are here, and we have Corrupt. Actually, is that a Titan at 3-gen rare? It looks like a pretty good Corrupt tone, honestly.
Yeah, that's a very good Corrupt split right here. You have the 3-gen, and that's definitely going to be something Cyber wants to play around here towards the later game. In best case, you get a hook stage early on in this part of the map here, but we can always already see that the survivors are aware of that. Laker is immediately taking chase away from this 3-gen setup. Beautiful play here with the flashlight as well, so we can tell Divine is coming in really structured, already having someone for a counterplay here.
For real though, as soon as I saw Nia got injured and then immediately Wispy with the flashlight there, you knew that they were ready for this. They have very experience against the Smurfs. And where did Wispy go here? We see the blood, but where did they head off to? Did they jump in a locker, or did they just... No, the scratch marks over there. They booked it across the map. Just like you said, evading and leaving that 3-gen, very smart gameplay already from these survivors, which, I mean, based on who they are, this is to be expected, right?
Yeah, it's kind of be expected, and it's beautiful to see that they are putting this up just once again and showing the insane strategy. Really nice Dead Hard over here, and a nice double back last second as well, making some distance to the nurse. Now we are going behind the truck here, and we can say that we are 90 seconds into this game. The flashlight coming out as well, so this is more seconds being taken, and we might even see Corrupt expiring before the first down is coming in. Beautiful double back once again by Wispy here. She is doing a phenomenal job here in the early game, going towards the 3-gen setup, and that's a beautiful down here though. A nice counterplay by Cyber.
For sure, yeah, I was going insane there, just watching Wispy turn around, double back, and then immediately go for the flashlight burn, denying them any value. And they do get that first gen done in this first hit, but as you said, Corrupt is already expired. We do see a little bit of a block on that gen, so that looks like it's going to be a deadlock though. So Deadlock and Corrupt have been shown to us. I wonder if the survivors know about, yeah, they probably know about the Deadlock, seeing that gen is already progressed a little bit. They are hanging around though, and this might be a Pop Goes the Weasel as well. Yeah, we can hear that is Pop Goes Weasel. So Pop Goes Weasel and Deadlock have been exposed as well. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't see any of the survivors. I don't know if I left this hook. This was I don't have any pressure here. They reset Wispy. Wispy is healed. Only Nia is left injured, and I don't even see a survivor. We see scratch marks, and that looks like it's Nancy. I feel like they lost a little bit of pressure here.
Yeah, it's a really interesting play by Divine here, because you definitely lose some pressure on the generators here, but if it works out, you might get a full reset across your survivor team and can send in all 4 players here once again, so that would be a really good strategy by Divine. However, you can see that Wispy is opting to attack the 3-gen here. She does get caught by Cyber though, so the next chase is going to happen. Second generator coming out, the Deadlock once again. Interesting though is that we don't see a Hex Ruin here on the Nurse. That is something we often see across the board. Maybe we also see something that is towards Thanatophobia, for example. Really interesting that the combination here is the Deadlock together with the Pop Goes the Weasel, because Cyber seems to be really confident of getting the hook stages in during the mid game and get these 25% kicks in. For now, we have to say though that Divine is doing a perfect job on denying exactly that strategy, as Wispy with another very beautiful double back here, extending the chase really well, and they have a lot of pressure now on the generators. Once again, Flashlight coming out, nice down though, but I think Cyber is going to lose another generator here.
I would expect so. In fact, this went so long, I would expect almost 2 gens to fall. Wispy is very adept at juking Nurse, which, I mean, if I remember correctly, Wispy also plays Nurse, so playing the killer definitely helps you get an understanding, but constant line of sight blocking and just doing as much as possible to give their time give their team as much time as possible to do these gens. We get the pop on that gen there, and yeah, there you go. We see that 1 gen being popped, and we see Deadlock on another gen. I would expect that one to be nearly done, because they've had plenty of time to work on it. And the Nurse, however, does still have this 3-gen back here to work with. So despite as much chases they've been doing, they haven't really alleviated any of this 3-gen pressure that this Nurse has.
Yeah, the 3-gen is something that is really good for the Nurse here towards the late game, and I think also something Cyber kinda needs here, because we are talking about 2 stages at the moment. Divine did a phenomenal job of pulling back, getting the reset here, so this 3-gen setup is something you need to work with. You need to get it down in this setup really soon. You need to get this pop kick applied on the generators, and we can see once again Divine is pulling the same strategy over and over again, because that's the game plan, and this game plan is going far away from these active generators, and they do it so quickly and with such a preparation that Cyber, even though being one of the strongest killers in the game right here, does not have a chance really to take over the pressure, because Divine is so aware of what is happening around them. The communication is on point here from the Survivor team, and even though Cyber is doing really good blinks and having good chases here in the mid game, it is going to be difficult, because now you also need to make a decision between, do I commit to a Survivor and try to force it down and pop kick, or am I taking a look on my generators? And it seems like Cyber decides to go cross map to get the down, which is an understandable decision. You need the points, you need the pop kick, but you need to make sure that you get this really quickly, because Divine is going to sit on this last generator.
I agree, and it's worth noting, we were talking about that one of those gens was 99. We saw that one get popped, and the other one gets corrupted. As soon as that corrupts up, I think that gen pops. That gen was almost 70 or 80% already, so they got the pallets done?
Oh my God.
There? And the flashlight? No, I'm sorry, the firecracker, and they popped the gen. That is so much. And we see that there was a notification on the door, so no way out has been done, but there's only 1 stack. Oh, what a brutal reversal. I don't think Nurse is even going to be able to get one. Wispy is just asking for the attention, and they do get it, but I don't think you can get more than a 1K here. No Way Out's about to expire. I imagine, I don't know, can you get a hook in this time and maybe camp it out? What can you do here?
Yeah, this is going to be really difficult.
Wow.
And beautiful play by Wispy here, being so aggressive, because she's just one more stage here. And as you mentioned, the No Way Out is coming in, but immediately proc with 1 stage. So someone was waiting on the exit gate while Wispy was taking the attention from the Nurse here. So everything has been planned by Divine until the last detail here. And this is so beautiful to watch. And as you mentioned, it is going to be really difficult for Cyber to secure another stage. And I think your prediction was correct. We will see a 3-man escape potentially from Team Divine. Leica is the last remaining one in the trial, and there they go. This is a 3-stage 3-man escape game from Divine, and especially in trial number 1. And with the fact, I mean, we talked about Divine is warmed up, but at the same time, they played so many tournament games today that you could also say they're kind of tired maybe, but they are showing up here from the word go with a perfect performance from the start, and this was really, really insane.
As a killer main, that was rough. You're absolutely right. They came, you can say they're fatigued, but the way they played just then, they really feel like they were juiced up and ready to go. They were warmed up, and they came for blood. Just absolutely flawless plays on their part. The coordination, especially at the end there, you had a pallet stun, you had a firecracker come in for extra blind, you had the gen pop, and immediately a survivor was on the exit gate for the no way out play just to get it to proc. That was sensory overload. I feel like that was just a glimpse as how the nurse was feeling most of that game is just sensory overload. Wispy was doing a fantastic job juking in and out. Even if it was in the 3-gen, that chase lasted so long. They played around deadlock very well. Survivors felt like they were just in control the entire match.
Yeah, and this kind of shows it. When Tournament Org started to put up all these perk bans on Killer and Survivor side, that learn about these survivors becoming too weak at the start, like month back when Tournament Org started to do this. But I think Divine just showed us really, really beautifully, in a really, really beautiful and impressive way, how powerful all these resources are when they are used the way they are supposed to be and when they are in the right hands. Because as you mentioned, there was the firecracker, and then we have the flashlight, and then we take the down, we have the pallet save, and this can be really, really overwhelming for a killer. And I think what Divine just showed us was how you use your limited resources on the survivor side in such a way that is almost mind-blowing. And for Cyber, as you mentioned, from the perspective of a killer main, this can be really, really difficult. Knowing the Shadow Wolves, though, I know that they are always putting up a fight here, so I'm really hyped for the Survivor game. And also, I think it is something that you need to take as part of your experience, right? When you start into comp and when you try to make your way, games like this is something you need, and make it part of your learning process.
Oh, for sure. There's definitely moments you could take away as a learning experience. Every loss has something you can glean from it. It's there's very few games that I've witnessed so far where I'm struggling to take away some nugget of information. It's like, okay, maybe this could have been done better. And this is why you have the VODs to go back and, watch and see what you could have done differently for both sides of that matter. I don't know necessarily what you could have done on the Survivor side to try and figure out what you could have done better. I feel like they played that pretty dang well, but yeah, definitely sure something they can go and take in the future with them. But now it's like you said, it's Shadow Wolf's turn to see, and Divine has their own nurse that is going to be coming to Retro Shop. So a bit of a mirror match, and definitely a tall order to follow up. But we'll see how they play it. I don't think I've seen I've seen Wispy before. I don't think because let me go over here real quick. We have Julian on nurse, and I don't think I've ever seen them play nurse. Have you seen them play nurse before?
I've seen them in Dead by Esports for this tournament in January. Before that, I have also not seen Julian playing killer that often. I've seen them sometimes on M1 killer, and that's why I definitely knew that the game sense and the prediction can be quite high, and it's a really, really experienced player overall. The nurse is, however, I can prepare you for that. It's going to be really impressive, though. And I think what Julian has here as kind of an advantage of playing killer second is after your survivor team is putting you in such a beautiful spot and having a 3-stage game, you can kind of adjust your strategy now, right? Because you are not forced anymore to put, of course you want to put as many stages as possible, but you can kind of try to go aggressively for a tunnel, force a 3v1 situation. That's basically the result Shadow Wolves just got on killer, and then you work the additional stages from there. On the opposite, a second strategy could be that you ignore the tunnel out and don't aim for a 3v1 like Cyber did, and from the start you spread your hook stages across the survivor team and try to get your points that way and put pressure across the board. So these two strategies are here for Julian, and I feel like especially when your survivor team puts up something like 3 stages and such a beautiful result, I think you have it benefits you of how you're planning your next steps as a killer here. And I think with Julian's experience, we can expect a very, very intense nurse game.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think you hit the nail on the head. They know exactly what they have to put up just to get the set win, and then anything else is just gravy to try and hold over and get the overall match point in the end as well. So, yeah, it's definitely a bit of pressure alleviation. It's like, oh, okay, I don't have to go out of my mind, get the 4K, the 3 gen mark or whatever. You can settle back and you see like, okay, what are my odds here? Like you said, go for a hook, get another hook, and then camp that last person out, and you still got the win at the end. So, yeah, the objective and goal is definitely in plain view, and we'll see how they capitalize on it. I haven't seen Julian, and based on the way you said, I am going to enjoy this match very much, I assume.
Yeah, I'm throwing in my word here for you that Julian is going to put up a very, very high-skilled nurse performance. I hope I'm correct with my prediction, but Julian has never disappointed me. Honestly, Team Divine, everyone on the roster, Wispy, Lake, these people are names in the comp scene where you know exactly, okay, if they are showing up today, that's going to be high-quality gameplay, that's going to be strategies, that's going to be minimal mistakes, if they even make mistakes. We have seen their Survivor game just now, which is barely anything we can point out there from the word go. So I think Julian is going to pick this up here and going to show us what you can do on the nurse here. It's going to be interesting though, because, and this is what I have to say, as I'm a guest, I'm in the beautiful position to talk about all the things that are so positive here in CODF. And what I really love is that the maps are kind of different from the typical ones in competitive.
True.
And what they're used in other tournaments, and that forces players to adapt. And if Julian prepared for DBE, for DBD League, he was never facing this map. And I really like this about COTF because it tests players in a very unique way. It shows you, hey, you might have a lot of experience, you might feel really, really good, but now we show you a new environment, and now prove to us what you can do on this map. And that's why I'm really looking forward to this match as well.
I agree. That's definitely one of the things that I liked about it so far, is that we've seen that survivors know the killer in advance, and so they get to prep. Okay, we know we're going to this map, we know we have this build, and we can just try a different strat that normally wouldn't try on the average kill or the average map, and we'll see how that pays off for them. You're right, that's a very quick down for Julian there, and that is one hook. We're barely even a minute into this match, and they've already secured their first stage. So yeah, you weren't wrong about Julian. I am not disappointed thus far. And I didn't get a chance to see the corrupt. Is the corrupt? Yeah, it seems like a pretty good corrupt so far, with a shop gen in the middle. Wow, another gen for them too as well.
Yeah, really, really good corrupt here as well. So RNG kind of similar on both ones here. As you mentioned, very quick first generator here. So the Survivor team is already preparing for a counterplay. It's going to be a little bit difficult though, because Julian has the chance to stand in the mid part here and keep an eye left and right of who's going for the rescue. Potentially he spotted someone going back here. Wouldn't be surprised if Julian is camping Cowboy into the second stage here to force an elimination very soon, because you definitely have the time here after after coming in and taking it down of 50 seconds and corrupt being up. You can kind of get the struggle phase for free here, but this is going to be a nice hit onto Solar Blaze, and that's going to be the down just in time. Cowboy is saved and didn't went into the struggle phase, so that's huge here. That's going to be 60 seconds additional hang time basically on this survivor you just exchanged. And the second generator, one thing we can definitely say, even though it was a rough start here, the survivor team fighting back.
Indeed, and we've seen a little bit of a deliverance play from Solar Blazer. Wow. We might see an incoming reset on these survivors. 2 gens out of the way. I thought there was so much, there was so much pressure this nurse had, and now I'd be worried about decisive strike from this ace. These survivors might have a full reset coming in here. Is this a decisive? No decisive on ace though. This is gonna be second stage. However, like you said, they did get the save on ace before second stage, so they are going to have a little bit of breathing room here. Maybe with a camaraderie play, they'll even get a little bit more time, but yeah, not as nearly as dire a situation for the survivors as I thought.
Yeah, it is really, really great to see the Survivor team finding an immediate solution also, because very often when a first down is coming in, especially against a high mobility killer like Nurse, we see a Survivor team taking some time before response is following, and this doesn't seem to be the case here for Shadow Wolves. They had immediately the nice idea of taking the save, and they have an insane firecracker right here. What a beautiful play, a revenge for the firecracker by Team Divine in the last trial. Really, really beautiful play right here. Cowboy, however, doesn't look too good on the hook. Over there, we see some scratch marks coming in. I think Julian located them as well, so that might be the elimination, might be a camaraderie coming in very, very soon, but this would be last second, though. I think we lose our first survivor of this game here, and that would force them into a 3v1 situation, and from then, it's going to be quite tough, though.
I agree, and yeah, you're right. There's no camaraderie play. Nancy going down here, wastes as much time as she can of the Nurse, but ultimately that does result in Ace going down, and that is going to be the first death of our game, already at 4 hook stages. So Survivors still have their work cut out for them, but they've done a phenomenal job resetting so far, and we'll see how they continue to respond here. This gen kind of out in the middle of nowhere getting done, but I imagine like the Nurse can camp this out, right? The Nurse can just camp this out. They still got their 3 gen set up. They got her Survivors to harass. I think just proxy this, right?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. That's going to be the play here, because once you force the Survivor team into a 2v1, you have so much potential in planning, because every time you take a chase, you definitely know I have 80 seconds to complete this chase here before a solo survivor can finish a generator right here. Good play here by Fats on this pallet. Taking a hit now, though. We need to have an eye onto Tokyo and Solar Blazer here. But if Tokyo decides to finish another generator, that would be quite nice for the score. However, to pull a turn here, the unhook would be needed, and that's exactly what we see now. Julian not going for the camp here, showing us how confident he is on Nurse. Instead of going for the safer play, as you mentioned, and forcing the 2v1 here, he is just feeling confident enough to go cross map and down the next survivor, and he also managed to do that really, really quickly. So Julian just playing a really, really solid game right now, can also go after the survivor that is potentially rotating over to get the unhook onto Fats here. We have the Deliverance removed from the trial already. So that is also a resource you do not need to worry about anymore. The firecracker is gone. So I feel like the resources of our survivor team are getting quite limited at this point, and this does push Julian into more and more confidence here.
I would agree, and it's worth mentioning, you mentioned that the Fats was doing a phenomenal job trying to extend that chase, and they did a good job, but it's so hard to do that against Nurse. And honestly, I was surprised. They almost actually snuck around the backside for the unhook on Nancy initially, but Nurse barely caught them out at the beginning and had to force them out of it, and so Nia had to come in for the save instead. But now we see Solar Blazer getting caught out, and Solar Blazer going down almost. These chases aren't lasting as long as I would expect. I mean, I know that it's hard to chase against the Nurse, but I was expecting a little bit more counterplay, and the chases are just going so fast that, yeah, the Nurse is very confident. They know, like, hey, we can afford not to camp. We can just take our chase as leisurely as we need to and just push survivors around. And honestly, I feel like the Nurse has been in pretty much tight control of this game from the start. Never let it slip away.
Yeah, I think a little bit of a difference we see on the survivor side is, if we remember Wispy's chase, we have seen a lot of switch between double backing and holding corners and then just holding W. And I think that's maybe something the Shadow Wolves haven't done that much in this game here, because what we have seen was basically the survivors trying to pull the Nurse into the right corner of the map here, which was really beautiful done by Fats, for example.
Right.
And that definitely buys some time, but you need to mix up your counterplay to the Nurse sometimes. Wispy, I think, made a phenomenal example here in trial number 1. We can really cut this out and put it on YouTube as a Nurse tutorial, basically. But this is maybe something where the Shadow Wolves were not that confident with compared to the survivors of Divine here. And that is especially when you face a really, really good Nurse like Julian. putting a little bit of punishment for you even more. We also see that the No Way Out here revealed the location of our last survivor. Not entirely sure if Julian
I
missed
think they're
the survivor
messing.
that was just there, or if they're just messing. Yeah, okay, now we're going for the final down here. So that's going to wrap it up with an insane 4K here. And I think Divine showed us all very, very impressive that they are not here to joke around.
For sure, yeah. The no-ed into the no way out proc. Like, Nia did her best. She went to the exit gate. She knew that the nurse was going to go for the hash. She was just taking the gamble, like, maybe they don't have no way out, but they had the no way out. We only saw 2 perks, which was kind of to be expected. And yet, Nurse just cleaned up shop there at the end. And you point out, Survivors did what they could trying to, bait the chases out here. And they had the strategy down. It's just they didn't have the mind game experience, maybe, a little bit to work on. So... really, really good job from Survivors, but ultimately, I think you called it. Julian's just very, very good performance on the Nurse, and they are going to make the 4K out in the end, and that is going to leave the first set going to Divine here. And I believe that's the final score for 37-10, so a very dominant score for the set. But with that, we will be moving on to the next set, and I believe the next set is on Gas Heaven. And I don't know if you know what they're going to be bringing here, but Divine's gonna be showing us a Demogorgon.
I love Demogorgon. I love to watch Demogorgon because I also love the map Gas Heaven, because I think Gas Heaven is kind of tricky because we have these walls with the cars next to the shack between main building and then on the opposite side of main building, so you it's not that easy to go from one area to the next. Sometimes you need to work around the entire tile, and then it's difficult for the killer as well, because every single time on Gas Heaven you need to make a calculation. Is this way to the generator really worth the time I need to put up when I need to walk around the entire car wall there? So that's where I think Gas Heaven is really, really interesting. At the same time, I love the pick Demogorgon on this map, because when we are talking about distance, when we're talking about location, Demogorgon has a very, very beautiful power for this map, because you can place your portals in these critical zones on the map, and then you can kind of take control by using your power correctly. And knowing Julian's experience and just proving it once again with the Nurse set here, I think we will see a Demogorgon play that is really planned out in all details, and something we potentially all can really learn from.
I couldn't agree more. I have not seen a demo in competitive in a while, and I know some good Demogorgons. A friend of mine, Aaron Swarm, is a very accomplished Demogorgon. I've never seen it really used in comp, and I completely agree. The portals are going to be perfect for this map, putting them in, like, say, those critical areas around the car walls, because besides this killer, like, I think Nurse is the only one that can really deal with those car walls to any extent, because Blight's just going to slide off of them. There's so many nooks and crannies you're not going to be able to deal with. Spirit has to go the long way around, and I completely agree. I think Demo's going to be a really interesting pick here. Also, the geometry you slide off the cars for those shreds, you get those really tight hits. I'm expecting some really cool Demo player, and I do believe Julian is going to be killing for us again, so maybe they just have a wide repertoire of killers to show us. I think we're in for a treat. I don't get to see Demo, and I don't know how chat because I see Demo. I know you said you don't see it. Like, how often do you see Demo?
Not that often anymore. Yeah. Demo is counting as kind of a weak killer. A lot of teams are, as you mentioned, like, you can do so much, especially around the cars. But I feel like some teams, especially the newer ones, are taking a step back from Demogorgon, because it does require some very specific practice also with the timings and everything. And I think that's something where newer players to comp say, hey, that's something I would like to take a step back from. I prefer the classic M1s, or I put the time of practice into a very specific killer like Blight, Spirit, and Nurse, where I need to create a very specific skill. And I think that's the 2 reasons why people go around Demogorgon. And whenever he's coming up, I'm really, really hyped to see it. And I kind of like that they're playing Julian straight again, because I think if you're coming out from this Nurse performance, you go in with such a confidence in this match.
Completely. And it's great for me because we're going to be loading to the next game very soon here. So not a lot of downtime. It's crazy because I kind of wanted to break down that Nurse game a little bit more, but we don't have the time now. We just got to go right into this demo game. But I agree, on the shoulders of that Nurse game, you have to be feeling a lot of confidence going into demo. And that might have been the thought from the very beginning. It's like, we don't get to see demo very often. we know that we're a good team. We expect to do really well. And maybe it was just a confidence play. Like, hey, let's play a demo and have, like a showing. Like, let's show what we can really do. We don't need an S tier killer to, get away with some really good shots. Who knows?
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think we also need to enjoy competitive Demogorgon as long he's on the board, because as we move forward, we maybe see some teams in the future that had no chance anymore to even buy the Demogorgon. So that's something we need to be maybe prepared for in the competitive environment. Luckily, not soon. I hope that everyone who is currently playing competitive has at least one account with Demogorgon across the team. But like at some point, we might see that Demogorgon is kind of dropping from the competitive stage, and that's also why I really like if Demogorgon is brought into the trial, because it's kind of nostalgic also, because I think I always link Demogorgon to the remember when they added Stranger Things and that, but they like grew so much, and like Demogorgon is a very iconic killer for this game at this point, and also with all these like emotional factors, it's a really nice killer to watch, and I'm just really hyped. I also like the add-on pick here, going for this one where you come out of the portal and bring and get the aura information to know where all these survivors are working on. And looking onto the perks here, we have seen the enduring kind of coming out there as well. This is going to be a very interesting pick here.
Oh yeah, the build that I am seeing is absolutely gorgeous. I love it. In addition, the Leprous Lichen, I really like it. I'm surprised we're not seeing Barb's Glasses and Blackheart, but honestly, getting the information is probably really key to see how the Survivor team is going to try and tackle your demo. And Nancy coming in here for a great hit, but ooh, he got caught out. He got shredded at the pallet. Oh man, Demo's doing some work here. I love it. And this is gonna be first hook for our demo, still in the corrupt zone. And this is, they still haven't popped a gen. We hear this gen being worked on, but I wasn't expecting that to go that well for them. Even with the body block, a quick reset on Solar Blazer. And I think Demo's just here for a good time.
Yeah, our Demogorgon with an immediate response, because these body blocks is basically these strategies against the one, right? Because you cannot really work around it. You are not necessarily that quicker than the survivors that you can do something against it. They can just body block a doorway or something. So the M1 hit taking is basically the counterplay here, and that Julian is able to reply to that immediately with this great mind game in front of the main building is really, really insane. We see the strategy from Shadow3Wolf once again. They're going in a map corner far away, wasting as much time as possible. Maybe a flashlight, no, not coming out, so just taking 2 extra seconds here for the grab. But I kind of like this play, because you do take a lot of time, travel time for Julian back. You take some time going for the hook here. However, these portals is kind of a counterplay to exactly that strategy, and Julian also knows exactly that someone is already coming over to get the unhook here.
Oh man, yeah, that aura reading ability is absolutely insane, giving the demo just what they need, like you said. And there's, they see the scratch mark. Survivor immediately running away. It's like, nope, he's back. We gotta go. And yeah, this portal placement's like really sweet here. They're only put down 4 portals so far, but yeah, they're working this little web they have set up. And yeah, just cat and mousing these gens. They see everything. They know the ace is going for the unhook. They see the survivor inside the garage. They know someone's in shack. Perfect knowledge. And the demo just gets to make the best chase mechanic plays, because we don't see much gen regression here going on besides the corrupt intervention. They didn't find Nancy. Sorry.
The Gen Pro, I was just picking up your point you made there, because the progress, and then you talked about the regression as well. Julian seems to be able to put up such a control over the survivor team here, and as you mentioned, that really results in a very good result here for the Demogorgon so far, because you are now about to really remove someone from the trial very soon. We see still 4 generators up here, so that is something that also, as longer you're in the trial as killer and you see that no additional generator is getting completed and you're kind of able to keep them on a certain amount of generators, that kind of boosts your confidence more.
I agree. And 2 very okay. No, we said that, and they popped the portal. I think, no, did they pop the portal? Okay, no, he canceled it. He's messing around. Okay, 2 gens pop at the exact same time, so Survivors seem to be recovering a little bit here. I don't know if they're going to have a plan for this. Well, it's kind of like a strung out gen situation. So if you put your portals along this line, you can kind of treat it like a 3 gen or a 4 gen, but Survivors are definitely coming back here now, finally, after they seem to be settling. Oh, a little bit of nodders from the Nia there. Yeah, I think they're here for a good time. This is like I said, a treat to see Demogorgon. And I when you said that there's not gonna be that many more going forward, like, that actually makes a lot of sense. And it makes me sad because, yeah, Demogorgon was, I loved the Stranger Things chapter. It was so good. Yeah. And to think that going forward, like, you might have to buy an account that has it on it, like finds your, your older brother's account when he played the game because they had the demo. Yeah, seeing this killer go away over time is gonna be kind of sad. And this is his last portal. Yeah, look at how many portals he has set up here. Oh, you see them on the faraway gen here. So they are gonna be breaking up the 3 gen, but Cowboy's dead. He's already got one survivor out of the game. Do you think he actually, with the lack of like straight up gen regression, do you think he can actually hold this down with a 3v1? Ooh, Spirit Fury.
I would, and now we see the build actually coming to play, right? We talked about it and how much we love this idea here. It's really, really strong. I'm not entirely sure though, because if you lose a survivor, like we saw Cowboy not getting unhooked in the map corner, you usually want to have a good trade-off on the survivor side in form of a generator being completed, a full reset. We see a generator coming out right now, but this chase here with Nia needs to last quite some time in order for the other survivors to hop on a generator, because they don't have much time to reset at the moment, because otherwise there will just be 2 survivors left. One of them is forced to go for an unhook very soon, so you kind of need to double up on a distance generator right now, because this chase here is potentially the last chance you get from Julian, because before pulling the 4K here. So I hope they're sitting next to Shaq, doubled up on this generator and putting in the one, and that is exactly what we see right here. Great play by the Shadow Wolves here with the strategy of going for the double up, and that's kind of what I meant. You always need to make a calculation of like how much time do we have and what's going to be the trade-off, and that's now, after seeing that they finished this last generator, I kind of like that they didn't unhook Cowboy, because if you confidently say, hey mate, you're gonna leave the trial here, but we get something for it, that's a really confident and a really, really respectable decision.
I agree, and it's worth noting, I didn't think about it at the time, the Demogorgon zoned Nia outside into where, like, they had already thrown all the pallets, so it was an absolute dead zone. And I think Nia actually knew it, and she's like, you know what, that's okay, because they're gonna finish this gen and we're gonna get 2 out for it. But now Claudette going down here, and I believe this is first hook for Claudette, isn't it?
I believe so. Yeah, this is going to be rough. You have a fresh hook here. You also see that they are going back to unhook the other teammate. We have the aura add-on. They should be aware of the aura add-on at this point, but we see a deliverance play in the distance.
Wow.
So that is really, really huge here for Shadow Wolves. And the body block is coming in by Nancy. Beautiful block here onto Julian. Should maybe, I think, go for the head now. So it's going to be interesting. We see the exit gate. I think Nancy is not going to make it really, really far, except we see potentially a hatch escape coming in here. This one is potentially the last pallet, the Spirit Fury once again, ending in the down though. So it's going to be a 2 out, and I think what Shadow Wolves showed us here was a very, very nice fight back towards the end game here.
I agree, and I'm surprised that Spirit Fury actually got procced there. Do you think they like forgot to call it Spirit Fury? Because I'm surprised you'd camp that pallet knowing the demo is Spirit Fury.
Yeah, I have to agree on this one, and this is sometimes something I noticed when I mentioned that they are maybe not aware about the aura add-on, because they were trying to reset under the hook, and you can kind of tell when the Demogorgon is using this aura add-on, because he's coming out of a portal, he's walking towards you, he's maybe not portaling towards a generator, instead going for a survivor. So it seems, I have to agree on the Spirit Fury as well. It seems like Shadow Wolves missed 2 resources of the killer there, but from the strategy and the tactic, I really like the gameplay there. Maybe a bit unfortunate towards the end, could have maybe been a 3 out here as well, but I have to agree with you when we go into like kind of an analyze. Camping that pallet there in the main building was definitely some sort of a mistake.
I agree, and with that said, It is going to be a 15-10 lead with Divine with the Demogorgon. I'm sorry, that is 15-12. We just had an update to it. And they are going to be pulling out the win for that trial. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to stop speaking. The score is still updating. I apologize. Regardless, I think Divine is going to come out with the win on that, though. And honestly, just... they did so good on Demogorgon. I have not seen Demogorgon played like that before. The Leprous Lichen giving them all the knowledge. They didn't bother with any gen regression. I don't need gen regression. I'm just going to win my chases and zone these survivors and herd them like cattle. And like I said, the survivors did a really good job at the end there, you know, pulling that pressure away, allowing Cowboy to die on hook, making sure they can get the exit gate open. And they did a really good job recovering. But daggum, that was some good Demogorgon play. You just don't see that every day. That was a really pleasure to watch.
Yeah, I have to, and as more as I think about Gas Heaven and their pick, as more I like it, because when we went into this game, we talked about Gas Heaven having two difficulties: the size for the killer and these car walls. And I think thinking about it and how Julian executed their tactical plan there, you used the portals as a like kind of a going around the car walls. You don't need to worry too much. You can just go for the location you want to find yourself in. And at the second time, this aura reading add-on is also helping you with the size of the map, because every time you come out of a portal, you know exactly where you need to go next. So you can ignore so much area of the map that would normally, as for example, an Oni, as a pyramid head, whatever, would take so much time from you as you would scout a dead zone. But this add-on is kind of reduced the huge map Gas Heaven to just a few locations where you need to be aware because the survivors are operating there. So as more as I'm thinking about Gas Heaven and the pick with Demogorgon here and the add-on, as more as I have to say that Divine is really, really deserving a lot of props here.
I completely agree. Like, that breakdown was accurate as can be. I love that Leprous Lichen got used there. Yeah, the map, you got to narrow it down with your the map awareness. You only needed to go to a few places. You know where every survivor was at any time. You know how to take your chases. You know where phenomenal play from Demogorgon. And not to move on too quickly here from this, because we've got another match coming up here with the last trial here with Blight. What do you think about Blight on Auto Heaven? Because the cars are weird. We've seen a couple Blights already here today. I have never liked Blight on this map because you slide off everything. How do you feel about it? Do you see some games where Blight works here?
It's definitely going to be rough, and sometimes I can understand if you pick the Blight, given the size of the map and you want the high mobility, but I have to agree with you. And from my experience, from watching a lot of competitive matches, I'm pretty often leaving with the feeling of like, okay, from a tactical perspective, I can understand why you pick Blight here, but be aware of how the map works, how the collision works. Because very, very often we see a Blight sliding off 3-4 times while trying to stop the last generator, for example, and they don't stop the last gen because of the collision. And then I'm like, maybe a Spirit, maybe an Oni, maybe a Nurse would have been the better choice here. So Blight can definitely be really, really rough here on Gas Heaven. If you do try to find an alternative in form of like bumping into the trees, into the shack, you can make it work. On the other side, I'm always like, you shouldn't play a killer in an alternative way to make him shine, because then you limit yourself on the power basically. So if you go in on Gas Heaven and say like, I'm only going to use the trees and the jungle gyms to make a very, very safe collision here, you almost load in with the Blight on 80%, and I don't think that's really sense of using your killer. So I'm really hyped to see Cyber coming in here, because potentially there's a lot of practice behind this, and I hope that they made a very confident pick here and it's not going to end as you, because I'm also kind of worried knowing how the ARP or the Azeroth's collision works sometimes.
Right, and that's what we were talking about before too, is that the collision is absolutely wonky on this map, but it also lends itself to make some really crazy plays, and maybe that's what they're going to be leaning into is, oh, I know exactly how this collision works, and I can do this really crazy trick, and they actually lean into the wonkiness instead of trying to avoid it, like you said, where you're playing Blight at a significant disadvantage. If you can only play Blight on 60% of the map, that's not good. You need to be on the other 40% of the map. But if you can play that other 40% of the map in a way the survivors haven't seen before, who knows? Again, I haven't played Blight significantly since his FOV rework because I'll be honest, I got tired of relearning the collision over and over again. So I got burnt out on it. But to see these other killers stick with Blight and learn his collision again and again, and just learn some really crazy tricks with him, maybe that's what we're gonna see. Maybe we'll see some crazy stuff on the cars. I don't know. I can't say.
Yeah, you definitely need to have a very, very good plan here if you're loading in with the Blight onto Gas Heaven, and I'm really, really hyped to see that because they definitely have something in mind here if you pick the Blight, because you also, it's a very confident pick, right? Because Blight is such a fast killer in terms of mobility, in terms of decision making. So you do put a lot of pressure on the survivors. However, if you know that you're going against Divine and these very experienced survivors, you also know that they probably don't shake too much when being put under pressure, because based on their experience, they are going to be able to make a decision in just 3, 4, 5 seconds. They are able to adjust their tactic if needed mid-match and pull and make an entire turnaround. So if you go against a very, very experienced team and try to put up a killer that is really working with fast-paced decision making and trying to put pressure onto them and maybe overwhelm them a little bit in the mid game, you definitely need to feel really confident in what you're doing. And I hope that Cyber will be able to pull this off here. We will see that they are loading in here with the Corrupt Intervention and 3 mystery perks, and kind of like it. Together with the double speed here as well is going to be another indicator that Cyber is feeling really confident.
I agree, and we do see, yeah, this Corrupt's in. Actually, this is a pretty tight-knit Corrupt, and oh, they already found scratch marks, so a survivor is that a Nancy? I believe that is Nancy ahead of him, and we'll just see if they take the chase here or not. Nancy up on the hill. I'm expecting a balanced landing here, but instead, oh, they got all the survivors here. Everybody's here, and getting that first hit there on Wispy, and looks like they're gonna be taking. Wait, they're going to Shack? Isn't Blight good with Shack? Wispy, what do you got here? Running around the side, and they get. Sorry,
yeah, I have to agree. Shack is a very, very strong tile for Blight if they are having a good idea. So I'm a little bit surprised here as well. Maybe she was seeing the dead zone towards the mid and was judging that the Shack is the best option here. Now I'm not sure if she's able to make it to the next pallet though. And she isn't. So Cyber is coming in here really quickly and making sure that the first down is coming through. And I have to say, comparing this to the Nurse we have seen in trial number 1 from in the first set by Shadowwolves, this looks like a really, really strong pickup here by Shadowwolves.
Did they just unhook right in front of them? Yeah. Firecracker play coming in? Oh my goodness, every survivor's here at the same, like, what is going on? We saw that first gen pop after the first hook happened, and then everyone's here to get Wispy off that hook, and Wispy is just trying to take the chase, and Blight sliding right past them, trying to get a cheeky pallet stun. I'm not gonna lie, it feels like they're trying to do a bully squad tactic here. Just a little bit. Ooh.
Yeah, I have to agree on that. It seems like, because you can tell they feel really confident, right?
Oh yeah.
And they have some generators to complete, but they seem to be really confident to get them done, and that's kind of beautiful to watch if a survivor squad is coming out and has all the experience and saying, hey, we are coming out here and we show what you can do here. I really, really like it. Someone hiding behind this tree here as well. Now everyone injured, so though I really like that Cyber is also able to find an immediate response to what they're trying to put up here. Ace nearly going down here as well. So I think it's going to be an interesting match here between the Survivor Squad trying to really show off and the killer is trying to get the counterplay.
I agree. Yeah, they're definitely feeling confident. I was like, I thought that almost bit them there, but they are playing the Shack pretty well here. Oh, okay, 2 survivors now under the pallet. Do you think we're gonna see like a power struggle play here? This really feels reminiscent of a pub squad that's just trying to flex a little bit.
Yeah, that might be the case. Power struggle, maybe an unbreakable into a stun. They definitely have something prepared, because you do not take a double down here out of nowhere. Now we see Adam going back into the shack. I feel like we talked about the size of this map, but I feel like currently we're playing around shack as the only one. This is going to be a dumb tech here as well, and survivor number 3 is going down while Ace is going to pick up the Claudette. She is going back on the floor. I'm not entirely sure what we are watching at the moment, but I feel like there's a lot going on here from the survivor squad, but we have to say, as much as they're putting up, Cyber is doing an insanely good job here.
Yeah. Survivor is, the survivors are laying it up, and Light's knocking him down like a bowling ball alley, but I definitely think they are trying for some disrespect. Though, oh, good dead hard there, but they keep trading. I think they're just having a bit of an exhibition match because they are very happy with their current score. Yeah, we got a 4-man slug, and yeah, it looks like I think they're just going to give the killer this game here. And yeah, I'm not really sure what to make of it. It definitely devolved there at the end. I'm not even sure what the penalty is for the disconnect, but I don't think they care. I think they're just here to show that they had a very, very good set of games today, and they were very happy with how they did.
Yeah, I have to agree. I have to agree on that. However, it's a little bit sad to see it ending like this, because I feel like it doesn't suit how Divine is as a team. We have seen them across the entire day, playing in multiple tournaments and putting up a really, really strong performance. They played a very, very beautiful nurse set here coming in. They played a nice Demogorgon performance for us, and finishing with a memeing or trolling match into a 4-man DC doesn't really suit what Divine is as a team and what I think they stand for in the competitive DBD. So maybe I hope it's just, hey, it was a long day, let's get over with. I'm not entirely sure, but
maybe.
Yeah, kind of sad that it's ending like this.
Yeah, because they're doing that, but that gives Shadow Wolves the set. So they get a set point out of this. So yeah, Shadow Wolves gets a set point out of that. So that's gonna be actually I need to check the score. I don't know who gets the match point here after all this is said and done. We'll have to see how it calculates in here, but I don't think Shadow Wolves wins the match point, but they definitely get a set point out of this. So I don't know why you do that when you could get the match point, set point, and get 3-0. I think it's what you said. They might just be like, we've had a long day of DBD. We just want to mess around a little bit. Because yeah, look, we saw Smash hit. They had Flashbang. This wasn't exactly what I would say would be a normal comp build or comp position. So a little bit unfortunate the game ended like that, but it is what it is. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little bit shocked that that's the way it went down, but regardless, I think we're seeing the score come in here, and I do believe Divine is going to take the match point with 63-45 overall, ending in a 2-1 win for Divine. So congratulations. I mean, in all fairness, despite that last game, they did play very well the entire match. That might have just been as like, oh, we played enough, we don't have to. I wish we could have seen a bit more play, because I would have loved to see how they played against the Blight, but oh well. It is what it is. But with that said, I'm sorry. I apologize.
I was just about to say, like, while listening to you, like as you said, really, really insane performance by them, and that's what makes it a little bit more sad that it ended like this. Because I also think, like, when we originally went into this match and we had our little chat before, we talked about how a very experienced team is facing a team today that is trying to get their name out there in the competitive environment, trying to learn. And I feel like you're kind of taking this chance from Shadow Wolves here if you are not playing out trial number 4 and become a little bit memey, because, like, you have a team that can really profit from your experience and what counterplay you put up. And of course, it's not your responsibility to do that. But in terms of his sportsmanship, I would have wished that trial number 4 would have also been played a little bit differently here. I'm a little bit shocked as you as well, but props still to Divine, because they have been really, really great. They have shown us a perfect nurse. They've shown us an insanely entertaining Demogorgon, and their survival match against the nurse of Shadow Wolves was really, really impressive as well. So I think we still have a lot to take here from this match, and it was really, really beautiful. If we just cut out trial number 4, I think we can look back onto a very, very exciting match.
I think that was very well said. Yeah, I'm sure Shadow Wolves was hoping to get more out of that, but they did have some very good games in there. They had some good plays. It's just that Divine is a very, very good team, and so we'll just have to wait for the next rematch for that. But with that said, in about, wow, we finished this very, very quickly. It's only 5 o'clock here, so we got about an hour before our next match is going to happen. So make sure to stick around for that. Again, Dir3Wolf, I could not be more than thrilled to have you on. Thank you so much for coming on. Do you have any socials to plug? Do you stream?
I do stream sometimes. Okay. Am I supposed to name myself now?
Oh yeah, I don't want to. This is where we open it up for. This is where we open up for plugs. Again, I'm sure most people know you as being from DBE League, but for the people that haven't, where can we find you? Where can we know more about you? Where can we see more of you?
You can find me on Dir3Wolf_TV on Twitch and Dir3WolfDBD on Twitter. That's my 2 things. Thank you so much for having me. A little bit self-advertisement here. And I just need to say, I was in Champions of the Fog 1 time before. I've met Guild just when we talked about competitive as a whole. He reached out to me as a host. Since then, we are cooperating really well. Dead by Esports Champions of the Fog. We schedule things together. We handle things together. We are giving each other input on balancing, on rule set. It's a very, very great partnership and very, very great exchange we have. And that's also why I looked forward so much to be here a second time, because every time, or the first time I came here, it was such a great environment. Amazing to see the matches and the organization. Today I had my second time here. I have to say to you, we never spoke before. I was really glad to meet you here.
Oh, for sure. Thank you.
It was really fun casting with you. Felt really natural, especially for the first time together. I had a lot of fun, and all I can say is really thank you to everyone, players, teams, audience, and the organization over here. The staff in the background as well, putting up all the week. Thank you so much for having me.
Again, thank you so much for coming on. You are incredibly easy to get along with, and I'm going to be learning a lot from your knowledge. You are very, very good at what you do, and I appreciate you coming on and sharing your expertise with us. I thank you very much, Dir3Wolf, for coming on. And with that said, that'll conclude our match for this this set. That's match number 3. We got match number 4 coming up in about an hour. It's a little bit of time to break. I'm gonna go get hydrated because these matches are insane, and I am tired, and I need to get back up for this 4th one. So with that said, thank you all for watching. You've been watching Champions of the Fog. I've been your host, littlerugaard. This has been Dir3Wolf of DBE League, and we'll be back on for a 4th trial soon. Stay tuned.